You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up thinking it'll be just another Tuesday? Nothing crazy, nothing new, just you, your coffee, and maybe the sound of a bird or two. Yeah, that's what I thought, too. Until the universe decided to slap me awake with the kind of drama you only see in those neighborhood Facebook groups where people argue about trash bins. Picture this. I'm standing in my backyard, half asleep, mug in hand, enjoying the quiet before the day gets rolling. And then it hits. This sound, shrill, angry, mechanical, that crawls up your spine before your brain can even place it. Chainsaw. Not blocks away, not a neighbor's little hedge trimmer. No, right behind my fence, chewing into something like it's hungry. My heart just about drops out my feet. For a split second, I convince myself, hey, maybe it's just someone working on their own yard. Then I hear the shouting, metal clanking, and above it all, that chainsaw screaming, chewing through wood that's been standing longer than half this neighborhood's existed. That's when I knew. Evelyn Brooks had finally snapped. Now look, this wasn't a story that started with chainsaws. Stories like this, they never do. They start quietly, a paper cut here, a weird look there. In my case, it started months before, with a piece of paper in my mailbox, slid in all sneaky, like a threat disguised as a polite letter. My name's Marcus, by the way. 6 years ago, I bought my little slice of suburbia in Westbridge Heights. Small place, good enough schools, quiet enough you could almost hear yourself think. Mostly retirees, a couple of young families with screaming toddlers, a few people pretending their homes weren't slowly drowning them in mortgage. You know the type. First thing I did, before I signed a single paper, I made sure my property was outside of the HOA's clause. I wanted none of it. No dues, no random strangers measuring my grass, nobody telling me my mailbox wasn't community-approved beige. Just me and my piece and this massive old oak tree out back. Man, that tree, I loved it like family. Thick trunk, roots twisting through the ground like they owned it, leaves turning this deep gold every fall. It shaded the whole back of my house, kept my foundation steady during storms. The city even had it on some list, protected soil retention tree, they called it. To me, it was more than a tree. It was the heart of the place. Part of the deal, part of my story. But to Evelyn Brooks, it was a problem. Or maybe more accurately, I was the problem. Evelyn moved in about 2 years after me. You'd spot her from a mile off. Always dressed like she was on her way to a political rally. Hair perfect, clipboard glued to her hand. Smile like she was about to sell you something you didn't want. She had this way of looking at you, through you, like she was already planning a new set of rules just for you. Within half a year, she was the HOA president. Nobody knows how that happened. Nobody remembers voting. She just was. And man, did she love that title. Started rewriting guidelines, sending out warning letters for paint shades, for toys left out, for stuff nobody used to care about. People stopped waving. When she walked past, conversations died. But my house, it stuck in her craw, because I didn't play by her rules. Every morning, I'd see her slowed down by my place, eyeing that oak tree in my backyard like it had personally insulted her. Like I had. So, back to that letter. First shot fired. No hello, neighbor. No, hope you're well. Just notice a violation. Immediate action required. She wanted my hazardous structure removed. 14 days. She called my tree a hazardous structure, like it was a condemned building about to collapse. I laughed out loud, honestly. Thought she had the wrong house. Ignored it. Then came another letter. This one, older font, red highlights, fake legalese. Then another. Then she started showing up, arms crossed, standing by the fence, staring. Every time I watered my lawn, there she was. One day, she finally spoke, sweet voice, sharp eyes. You know that tree is a liability, right? It could fall. Someone could get hurt. I told her flat. It's protected by city code. Been inspected. It's fine. Her eyelid twitched. I'm the HOA president, Marcus. I shrugged. I'm not in the HOA. That word, not. You'd think I'd slapped her. Next week, I get 5 violation notices at once. All citing bylaws that, if you looked them up, literally did not apply to my property. So I tried being the adult in the room. Printed out city regs, highlighted everything. Even stuck little sticky notes. Handed it over. Here, the city says this tree stays unless there's permits, inspections. You can't touch it. You don't have jurisdiction. She just smiled, tight-fixed. Rules are flexible when safety is involved. Right then, I knew this wasn't about safety. It was about control. Evelyn only cared about rules if she wrote them. Anyone else? There were obstacles. Suddenly, I started hearing from neighbors, sideways glances, whispers when I walked past, cell phones coming out when I mowed the lawn. She was telling people I was lowering property values, that my tree was a ticking time bomb, that a storm could send it crashing into their homes. Nobody ever said it to my face, but I could feel it. The letters kept coming, now with threats, fines, corrective action, authorized intervention. I started sending certified letters back, polite but clear. She had no authority over my land. That word again, authority. That's when things got weird. She'd show up, unannounced, snapping photos over my fence, muttering, talking about consequences. One evening, as I'm unloading groceries, she corners me. "You're challenging my position," she snaps. I'm tired, but I just say, "No, I'm protecting my property." She leans in, voice low. "If that tree ever falls, it'll be on you. Not us. You." I tried one last time. "Evelyn, the tree leans away from your place. Engineers checked it. You're safe." She actually laughed. Safety is subjective. Then walked away, phone already at her ear. 3 days later, Thursday. I get home late, traffic deadlines just fried. I walk into my yard and stop cold. Unfamiliar trucks by the back gate. My gate wide open. My heart just drops. I cut through the yard, and that's when I hear it again. Chainsaws. Angry, loud, tearing through everything. At the fence, it's like a nightmare. Evelyn, brand new hard hat, like she's in charge of a demolition site, standing there, clipboard in hand, men cutting into my oak tree. This is the part where a lot of people would have snapped. Yelling, fighting, making it worse. But see, I had an uncle who once told me, never get angry, get evidence. He was right. Here's how it works. No HOA, not a single one, can step on a private property and do corrective work without real legal authority, permits, documentation, written consent. No vest, badge, or fake smile changes that. The moment Evelyn and her crew set foot on my lawn, that was trespassing. The moment they touched that tree, protected by law, that was unlawful demolition. And if they kept going after I objected, reckless endangerment. But here's what people don't get. This wasn't just legal. It was psychological. People like Evelyn, they don't wake up thinking, "I'll break the law today." They wake up thinking, "I deserve obedience." She'd gotten so used to nobody pushing back that resistance felt like disrespect like an attack. So, instead of backing down, she doubled down. Because to her, giving in meant admitting she wasn't in charge. And losing control? For people like that, it's worse than losing money. So I didn't yell, didn't shove anyone, didn't start quoting statutes like some armchair lawyer. I called the police. I documented everything. Because when someone's tripping on power, the best weapon isn't anger. It's a paper trail. And I had one, trust me. Evelyn, meanwhile, is waving her clipboard like a sheriff, barking at the workers. I dial 911, hands shaking but voice steady. Someone's cutting a protected tree on my property. No permits. I need police here now. She doesn't blink, doesn't flinch. Just looks at me. "You're interfering with authorized maintenance," she says. Authorized. I almost laughed. I turned to the guys with chainsaws. "You don't have permits. This is private property. You're committing a crime." One of the guys hesitates, just for a second. You can see it in his eyes. This isn't right. He looks at Evelyn. She snaps, "Keep going." And just like that, the saws scream to life again. The trunk's already wounded, deep grooves dripping sap. That tree had stood through hurricanes. And now, it's being butchered by a clipboard. Neighbors start coming out. Phones recording, voices low. Is that legal? Did she get permission? I keep shouting, "No permits. It's protected. Stop." Evelyn just folds her arms and smiles, like the universe has finally given her the win. Then something shifts. Not loud, not dramatic, just wrong. The ground trembles, almost like it's holding its breath. The tree groans. Not a snap, a deep, living protest that rattles in your bones. One worker shouts, "It's leaning the wrong way." Another yells, "It's gonna go." And Evelyn's smile dies right there. The men scatter, but it's too late. The tree falls slow, heavy like it's deciding. Then, boom. The sound, I'll never forget it. Like thunder splitting in half. Roof tiles explode. Walls crumple. Dust everywhere. For a few heartbeats, it's dead silent. No chainsaws, no shouting, not even a bird. When it clears, Evelyn's house isn't a house. It's wreckage. Crushed roof, walls split, windows blown out. Her clipboard's lying in the mud, snapped in half. She stands there, mouth open, eyes wide. And then she screams, a raw, animal sound. She rushes forward, shoving neighbors, barking orders at firefighters who just showed up. Move faster. Do something. Like she's still in charge. But her authority? It's gone. The firefighters do their jobs, calm, focused. They pull out her older son, shaken but alive. The crowd sighs. Then the younger one, strapped to a board, face pale, eyes open but not moving his legs. Paramedics work in grim silence. No banter. No eye contact. Later, we'd learn spinal injury. Permanent. He'll never walk again. Everything goes quiet after that. No more whispers. No one defending Evelyn. Police, investigators, insurance. Everyone's everywhere. I give them everything. Letters, emails, pictures, regulations, the whole file. The workers confess. No permits. They were uneasy. Evelyn told them to keep going. She says she was protecting the community. No one buys it. Charges, trespass, unlawful demolition, reckless endangerment, negligence causing bodily harm. The HOA board? They vanish. She's booted, barred from ever holding office again. Court drags on. Depositions, experts, endless questions. In the end, Evelyn loses. Big. Over $1 million. Damages, legal fees, penalties, long-term care for her son. Insurance won't cover illegal acts. Her house. Condemned. Gone. Months later, I watched city crews plant a new sapling. Young, thin, nothing like the old oak. Supported by braces, soil fresh. Done the right way. Evelyn's gone. Her power gone. Everything she tried to protect gone. And all of it for what? Control? After the dust settled, the lawyers stopped calling, and the neighborhood returned to pretending none of it happened, I'd sit out back, staring at that little tree, thinking about how one word, no, turned a stupid argument into a disaster. Evelyn lost her title, her reputation, her house, her money, and most painfully, her son lost his future as he knew it. Me? I lost that old tree, a piece of my peace. Nobody really won. That's the part people never tell you in the karma stories. Real life? Nobody walks away without scars. Legally, this whole thing became a textbook case. You can hold a title, wave a clipboard, run meetings, but you can't ignore the law. You want to change something? Get the paperwork. Get consent. Do it right, or don't do it at all. And on a personal note, this is the ugly truth. When people get a little power, especially after being ignored for years, they start to tie their worth to it. So when you say no, it isn't just a boundary. It's a threat to who they are. Then it escalates. Suddenly, every warning feels like an attack. Every law feels like sabotage, and they double down again and again until the only thing left is fallout. Here's what I wish more people realized. Boundaries aren't personal attacks. They're safety systems. They protect everyone, even the ones who hate them. If you ever end up in a fight with an HOA, a boss, anyone who thinks their word is law, document everything. Emails, letters, pictures, get it all in writing. Because most disasters don't start with evil. They start with someone thinking the rules don't apply to them. If you're ever in a position of power, anywhere, let this scare you a little. Not because you're bad, but because power is a hell of a drug. It'll convince you that you're special, that the rules are suggestions. Until one day, reality shows up, and it doesn't care what your title is. People ask me if I hate Evelyn. I don't. I feel sorry for her son, for everyone caught in the wreckage. If she'd paused for a second, called the city, read the papers I gave her, if she'd listened, none of this would have happened. So let me ask you, Have you ever had someone refuse to accept a boundary? Someone who turned a simple no into a full-on war? How did it end for you? Drop your story down below. Let's talk about it. Because maybe, just maybe, sharing these stories is how we stop the next disaster before it starts.